Okay, I'm live. Let's see. And I'm going to go over here because we've got things we've got to talk about. Okay, so let's see who made it over here to the new live. They're acting like crazy. Hi Dina, hi Billy Boy Blue, hi little lady. Oh, look at Billy Boy, he's first. He's first. Hi little lady, hi Dina. So Sarah Boone penned a new letter to the judge. Let's read this beauty. She's got very nice printing. You have to hand her that, you know. You got to give her props for that. She's got good handwriting. So just going to put that here. I don't know who she reminds me of. It drives me crazy. Okay. All right. Let me pull it up. Here we go. All right. So the letter reads, Honorable Judge Cranick, finally, a new judge. It's strange how the Lord works. As I was in the process of trying to disqualify Wooten, after being my judge 4 years and me still incarcerated with nothing to show other than 7 different attorneys, in parentheses, not by choice. News clips of me walking in and out of the courtroom and everything relative to my case permitted to be slathered on the global internet and in which I have not seen myself. I felt he was the ticket holder to my overly hyped, illicitly distributed, misconstrued criminal case, and great reasons I am still here again, ongoing, 4 years and 7 attorneys later, not by choice. See my letter dated 6/29/2023 on the clerk's website. While still waiting to properly elucidate the court. You know, this is funny. I can't believe this is going on 4 years. Really? Crazy. Public and world, and after whatever the dysfunction was in the attendance part of my most recent PTC status hearing, which I am trying to ensure my automatic attendance futuristically, please see my draft motion included. I am still trying to have my attorney resubmit on my behalf. I wanted to bring to your judicial attention the following information so you and the world are aware it is not I who am ever delaying trial as Wooten inappropriately accused me of doing in a past hearing, especially now you have mandated a trial date to be had in May with no further continuances, leaving less than 4 months to put together and complete what should and could have been done already. What happened in all the 4 years prior? Please see all my correspondence online. To date, Winston E. Hobson has been my court-appointed attorney for 133 days and counting. To date, Mr. Hobson has only met with me 1 time for a total of 3 hours on November 7th, 2023. To date, no phone calls have been received by Mr. Hobson, as his phone does not work properly for further, immediate, much-needed communication to be made between client and attorney. To date, I have mailed 5 letters to Mr. Hobson, trying to communicate my urgent need to speak to him. To date, I sent one letter to the investigator in my case to contact Hobson to contact me and see if he could assist in correcting the phone problem. Also, to inquire when anyone is coming. To date, I feel I am not being included or heard or cared about in my case, again, from the continued miscommunication again with Mr. Hobson and time-consuming, undiscussed entries are being made on my behalf. The continuance I did not know about. The waiver of appearance I did not know about, along with other documents. And I am never sent copies of anything filed, so I know I keep trying to tell him about with no response, furthering the already massive dysfunction in my 4-year case. I was hoping in the PTC status hearing on Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, I could at least play catch-up in the courtroom for 5 minutes. So many of my attorneys have done prior, including Mr. Hobson, in the one court date I've had for a continuance of a continuance on October 30th, 2023, to express and emphasize the need for him to communicate and schedule a second, very overdue meeting. I still have not even heard from Mr. Hobson about our missed PTC status hearing. What's the status? To date, 1 out of 133 days and counting, attorney and his client have met. To date, 3 out of now 3,192 hours, attorney and client have discussed partial general case information. To date, I still have not seen my discovery. Your Honor, when is the next status hearing, please? Especially since we were not at the last PTC status hearing, and especially since I am trying to communicate with my attorney in more than one way to fully maximize and utilize the minute amount of time allotted before trial. My fair, appropriate, lawful trial? I still am wondering why, though, I've had to wait for 4 years for something to finally happen on or in my case. Ask Judge Wooten. I wonder also, was I the oldest case on his docket? Either way, I'm still here, waiting patiently, and very excited to get this highly anticipated show on the road. I await your overdue and very needed judicial direction, supervision, and intervention. Thank you in advance, Judge Kranick. Welcome. Sincerely, Sarah Boone. And then she has, she drafted a motion and wrote it out, and she said, so everything is, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone, motion to be included in and allowed admittance to all defendants' pretrial conferences and hearings. Comes now, defendant Sarah Boone, by and through her undersigned attorney, Winston E. Hobson, respectfully requests permittance to attend all my pretrial conferences and hearings ongoing until the conclusion of my criminal case. And then she says, per FRCP Rule 3.22001, the following is stated to lawfully allow my inclusion, participation, and requested admittance. 1. The trial court may hold one or more pretrial conferences to consider such matters as will promote a fair and expeditious trial. The defendant must be present at any pretrial conference unless the defendant's presence is waived in writing or on the record by the defendant or by the defendant's counsel with the defendant's counsel consent. In support, the defendant alleges as follows. 1. These pretrial conferences are for my personal individual criminal case. if professional YouTubers, news channels, court TV, etc. are given permission and allowed entry to the courtroom for viewing, and the judge also is allowing the conferences to be streamed live with all the court minutes uploaded to the internet and world, I, the defendant, should be included foremost. 2. I may not have regular, consistent updates or communication with my court-appointed attorney, and by attending all my PTCs and hearings, I will know current status, important dates, casework, being completed, changes in parties, time frames, expectations, all pertinent information I, the defendant, have a right to know, want, and need to regarding my case. All information is important, relative, and necessary to me. She says. 3. I am not consistently included in the certificates of service and sent copies of any documents being filed in court regarding my case as requested numerous times by the defendant in writing and verbally in the courtroom, neither by the judge, the court, or my attorneys. By attending my pretrial conference, I will know what documents have been filed, need to be, and will be for and in my case. Another way I can know what is going on in my case and being worked on. 4. In complete overall support, it is my right by law as an individual defendant and inmate to be included in any and all developments made in my case. It's also my right to finally achieve success in any and every aspect possible in my case by attending and being included in my pretrial conferences and hearings. Said success can and will be accompanied fairly, faster, properly. Wherefore the defendant Sarah Boone respectfully asks the Honorable Court to grant my motion to be included going forward to all defendants' pretrial conferences and hearings. By Sarah Boone, certificate of service, and she certifies that this is an original of this document having been filed via U.S. mail with the Clerk of Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit, and that a copy of this document will be filed in the Florida e-portal to state attorney and all attorneys or other parties on court record on this 19th day of January 2024. So there's a new judge. Judge Wooten is not there. She's unhappy again with her counsel. She's unhappy she's not being given stuff pertinent to her case, and she has sent that letter in. So that, let's see what you think about that letter. 24. What did you all think about that? What did you all think about that? She's living in a false reality, video reel says. Pink little lady, everybody. Okay, so I haven't covered 2 days of Troconis because yesterday we had we covered the Cindy Watts interview, and that took a long time, and so there's a couple of days to go over for Troconis. Now, the reason I took this is because you can see here's that bicycle, and that bicycle is allegedly what he used to go to Jennifer's house and lay in wait for her to kill her. And that bicycle has not been found. That's that truck. We've seen a lot of testimony in court regarding the evidence. The defense, their cross-examination is so tedious, and it's just so over the top. I know they want to secure any appeals and all that, but it's it's borderline that it would be infuriating to the jury, which could work against them. So let me, let's get over here now, okay? Let me get over here and, so let's get over here. Gumieni, that's the worker, okay, that owned that red Toyota, okay? He provided DNA samples. He provided his phone to investigators, access to the red Tacoma. He even saved the original seat because he felt something was up, and he gave that to investigators. We know that from our study of the case. We know that from court, and he gave a laptop. He made a statement to the effect of, if I were going to use a computer to research things, I would use one that didn't belong to me. Investigators also obtained car seats that Gumieni and Fotis Dulos urged him, that Gumieni said Fotis Dulos urged him to get rid of. The jury saw new surveillance footage from 77 Mountain Spring Road in Avon, a property across the street from Fotis Dulos' 88 Mountain Spring Road. It showed the red Tacoma leaving Fotis Dulos' property around 5:30 a.m. on the day that Jennifer Dulos disappeared. Okay? Defense was quick to tamp down speculation about the truck's movement and the driver. John Schoenhorn, the defense attorney, said, and I quote, "You did not observe from any of the angles anyone actually getting into a truck or even starting it up." The investigator said that he did not. Gumieni is going to take this stand, I believe, at some point in the trial. Let's see what else. They talked about a lot about this, what they got out of the Tacoma. Did they swab this? They asked him at one point, did you swab like this under the seats? Why not? It looks like it could be blood. They were just trying to, point out anything where they could have an appeal on like shoddy police work and stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, let me go over here. So here is another picture of the investigator. Pointing out exactly what I put in the thumbnail, the bicycle. In the back there. Let's see. Sergeant Matthew Riley returned to the stand to testify on processing the 2001 Toyota Tacoma. Remember, that's Powell Gumieni's vehicle. And said while the Tacoma had the dings and dents of an 18-year-old truck, he said the truck appeared to be very clean inside and out, and the tires looked like they had been washed and armor-alled. Investigators found seats that appeared to be from a Porsche inside the truck, with the driver's seat propped up with a plastic bucket. He added that the seats were not bolted down or attached to the truck. Investigators conducted field tests on parts of the interior doors, and while some samples tested negative for possible blood, the samples were swabbed for lab testing. Riley noticed that the license plates appeared clean and had 2 clean bolts each. No fingerprints were found when they were processed. There were also 2 more car seats found in the truck bed. Riley testified that it was not made clear to the court whether they were at one point used in the front seat of the Tacoma. They weren't. What happened was Fotis told him, get the old front seats out of that truck. Get it out and go get some new seats from a You Pull It lot or something. And then they mentioned a Porsche that apparently Fotis had wrecked, and he could go get the seats from there. And you remember that they also said that they stopped Gumiani one day driving past the house, and he had the Porsche seats, and he was talking about that, and he was going to give them consent to search the truck. And then when they did, and he wasn't in his red truck, he was in the Jeep Cherokee. And he said, well, you know what? This isn't even my truck. I don't know if I can. I wouldn't want to do that. That's what he said. Yeah. Let's see. The Connecticut State Forensic Lab scientist also took the stand on Wednesday on evidence about the fingerprints. Fotis's fingerprints were found on a piece of black tape, while possibly traces of his fingerprints were found on other pieces of tape and some black garbage bags. Neighbors who lived near 4 Jefferson Crossing, and that's the house that Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis lived in with her daughter and his kids sometimes, also testified on providing home surveillance footage to Connecticut State Police investigators. One clip showed to the court was of the black truck pulling into the driveway of 4 Jefferson Crossing at around 8:12 p.m. on May 24th. Someone getting out of the driver's seat, walking to the mailbox, and then back to the truck. Previous testimony walked the court through the path of what happened, of what appeared to be Fotis Dulos driving a black Ford Raptor and dumping trash along Albany Avenue. We know about that, all those different stops. They went to the Hartford Starbucks on Albany Avenue. Remember, she got the bad sandwich, but she couldn't remember. Was it a ham and cheese or was it a turkey and cheese? She could just remember it was a horrible, terrible sandwich that she threw away. She really wanted a chocolate croissant, but, they didn't have that. But she just remembers what a horrible sandwich it was, but she can't remember whether it was turkey or if it was ham. Unbelievable, right? Let's see here. So that's like not that much that went around. Let's see here. The court was shown video footage from multiple places, including 2 Route 15 rest stops of what appeared to be the 2001 red Toyota Tacoma, driven from Farmington to New Canaan and back on the morning of May 24th. That's the day that Jennifer went missing. A few school bus cameras capture the red truck parked on Lapham Road near Waveney Park, the same road where, remember, that Jennifer Dulos' Chevy Suburban was found later that day. Police met Gumiani on May 31st, 2019, 1 week after Jennifer's disappearance. They were attempting to execute a search warrant for 4 Jefferson Crossing. Gumiani was very sweaty when investigators patted him down, which caught their attention. He elaborated on his comings and goings and stated that he was coming from New Canaan, where 4 Group had a home. He stopped down the road at a property owned by Mr. Dulos and had indicated that he was removing the vehicle seats from the Porsche. Yeah, he was real sweaty, so that he can put them in his own truck. Previous testimony included images of the crowded garage at 585 Deercliff Road with a damaged Porsche parked in the middle, and a detective testified Monday that the Porsche was registered to Jennifer. Investigators interviewed Gumiani at a Simsbury home on June 2nd. They also seized the Jeep Cherokee that belonged to 4 Group, as well as his phone and his work computer. In videos of police interviews with Michelle Troconis, she told investigators that she was driving the Jeep Cherokee on the day Jennifer disappeared, May 24th. On the day that they searched Fotis' house for Jefferson Crossing, Fotis and Michelle were brought to the state police Troop L, where investigators seized a second phone from Fotis, and they noticed a nonverbal interaction. Yeah, so they said, well, what was going on? Oh, well, the investigator said that Michelle, she shook her head like back and forth, like in a no, and gave him a very stern look, to which Dulos shot back another like really stern look, even sterner, and met her eyes. They asked how long that interaction took place, and he said a few moments. Yeah, so that's that for Michelle and Fotis. Let's talk about Jennifer Crumbley. If you're watching the Crumbley trial, you're probably very frustrated with Jennifer's attorney. That woman, I really don't think she knows at all what she's doing. It's very crazy because she doesn't listen. It goes right over her head. She asks the most leading questions. She doesn't know how to ask a question. I take that back. The woman doesn't know how to ask a question. Okay? She doesn't say, did you go XYZ and meet with XYZ? Let the person answer. And then, how did you feel when you were meeting with them? No, she says, they met with you on such and such and you felt, it's like, you can't do that. You can't tell him how he felt. So yeah, it is very, very, very infuriating. And there is something, I guess the biggest takeaway in the case is about Jennifer Crumbley's affair. So let me just get to that part of it, because it's very difficult to watch. And I will tell you, I am not watching a lot of it because, first of all, there's so many hours in a day, and but it's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. And almost everybody I talk to is like unable to, they have to have this thing in piecemeal. Okay, so let's get this attorney over here with her hands. Does a lot of hand movements and a lot of. Hold on, where'd you go? Get over there. Okay, so Jennifer Crumbley is the first parent to ever stand trial on charges that come from a child's mass school shooting. Her son, Ethan Crumbley, he has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murdering 4 people at Oxford High School in November of 2021. James Crumbley, the shooter's father, faces the same charges, and he's scheduled for trial on March 5th. School officials were on the hot seat Tuesday, and they were explaining why the shooter wasn't sent home after his parents were called to Oxford High on the morning of the shooting over a disturbing drawing, and why they didn't search his backpack, which held the gun that his father bought him days before and that he would use just hours later to kill 4 and wound 7 people. Okay, so Jennifer agreed to let jurors hear about an affair she had. Her decision was announced when Brian Malocci was on the stand. Her testimony appears regarding messages he exchanged on Facebook and Instant Messenger with Jennifer after the shooting. What the jury didn't know initially is that Malocci had an affair with Jennifer Crumbley. The judge previously ruled that Jennifer's extramarital affair would not be admitted at trial, concluding that it was irrelevant to the charges and prejudicial. But Jennifer's lawyer, Shannon Smith, that one in the red there, wanted to question Malocci about his dealings with police and whether they threatened him that he may lose his job as a firefighter and put his pension at risk if he tried to help Jennifer Crumbley after the shooting. Smith argued that Malocci changed his story to the detriment of her client because he was intimidated by the police. Now, the assistant prosecutor, Mark Keast, argued that if that happens, then prosecutors have the right to disclose to the jury that Malocci had an affair with Jennifer Crumbley. Smith said, "Bring it. Open that door." She had an affair. Lots of people have affairs. It doesn't mean you know your son is going to be a school shooter. And then that was the end of her quote. And then Matthew's quote said, "I want to make sure you understand what your lawyer said." The judge said this to Jennifer. "I want to make sure you are supportive of that." And Jennifer Crumbley said, and I quote, "I trust her. Yes." Minutes later, the man that she had this affair with comes to back to the stand, and the jury learned that these two indeed had she had an extramarital affair with this person, this firefighter. Now, how far the prosecution goes with the affair, we'll have to see. The prosecutor argued to the judge that there is evidence of other affairs by Jennifer Crumbley and that she went on trips with a boyfriend and ignored her son, all of which he claims is relevant to the case, but the judge has previously ruled that cannot be admitted at trial. And the judge said, and I quote, "She isn't charged with being immoral." Keast conceded that's true, but stressed she's accused of neglecting her duty as a parent. Malocci testified that he met Jennifer Crumbley in high school and her husband James when they moved back to Michigan, but he never met their son. He said that he followed Jennifer Crumbley on Facebook and that he communicated with her regularly in person and text and through a messaging app. He testified that he deleted the messages that they had exchanged. Malocci testified that he received a message from Jennifer Crumbley on November 30th, 2021, that she had to go to a meeting at the school involving her son. He said before going to the school, she told him in a message she was worried he was going to do something dumb. Malocci, who said he was aware the Crumbleys had purchased the gun because of a Facebook post, testified he asked her where the firearm was, and she responded it was in her vehicle. He testified he told her that was not a good place and it shouldn't be there. Malocci testified that he continued communicating with Jennifer that day after the school shooting. The assistant prosecutor, Keast, said a search warrant was executed from Facebook and some messages were obtained. The prosecution admitted those messages. In one that Jennifer Crumbley sent to Malocci just after midnight on December 1st, 2021, she wrote, "I failed as a parent. I failed miserably." And Malocci wrote back to her and said, "You didn't do this." She later shared a message expressing that she was upset she couldn't see her horses. And at one point she wrote that news articles were saying both parents would be charged. "I heard that, but I can't imagine that they could possibly charge you with," Malocci responded, and he urged her not to believe the news reports. Jennifer told him it's coming from the prosecuting attorney and that she needed to retain a lawyer. She also told Malocci that everything was secured, not loaded. Bullets were stored away separately. OMG, OMG, OMG. In another message, she wrote, "I'll never be okay. I lost my son, and he's a murderer, and I'll forever have to live with the guilt of that. I'm not even sure life is worth living anymore." She also wrote that they will never be the same. Never, ever, Malocci wrote back. "It's like mourning the death of my child." On December 2nd, she also told Malocci in a message that They were on the run again. Helicopters, not sure where to. I'll message you. Another message shows Jennifer Crumbley told Malocci, clear your cache, and he responded, good move. Under questioning by the defense, Malocci testified that when questioned by law enforcement for the first time, he told them that he and Jennifer Crumbley had an affair, and he testified that he again told law enforcement about the affair in a second interview in February of 2022 and in a third interview as well. Malocci, a firefighter, and under questioning from Smith, this one right here, said that during the third interview, law enforcement talked to him about his employment and details about his benefits, including his pension. Smith says, and I quote, when you were in that third interview, you were scared at the thought of losing your job or benefits. No, I was not, Malocci testified. Malocci testified that law enforcement asked him many of the same questions that he had been asked before, told him about the evidence of Jennifer Crumbley lying about things, and talked to him about the ranks within the fire department, seniority, and how he got to each position at the fire department. He said the officer reassured him that he was not in any trouble. The officer tells you he's not trying to be threatening to you, but he wants to put the cards on the table. Correct? Do you recall that? Yes, he says. So, yeah, that's what we got there. And let's see what you guys are doing. We went over all that. We did our good job. So, let's see. Where the heck is... Okay. So, any questions? Carolyn Jepson. Carolyn Jepson, what's up? Video Reel, what's up? Video Reel, you're not in green anymore. Video Reel. And that is something, if you're able to lend support to the channel by becoming a channel member. It's really important because becoming a channel member is something that it's a way to support the channel monthly, but it doesn't with YouTube and what they're doing with ad revenue, where they're doing stuff. They, like I told you, like the dips, like when everything is up, you go listen to some of the videos. And then there's like a tremendous, they call it falling off a cliff. And there's no accountability to any of us because all the stats are up. All the views are up. All the watch time is up. All the subscribers are up. All of the interaction is up. And then it's like off a cliff. And they say that's because now they have advertisers that don't pay, advertisers that are using fraudulent cards, all kinds of stuff like that is the answers that we get. So membership is something that can really help because it's a way to, make sure that they're not going to, screw us out because they don't pull your membership, it doesn't like that unless, so it's great. Thank you for being a member for 29 months. And thank you. So that's one thing. Another thing is Patreon is a great way to support the channel. That I don't usually say that, but I am now because I think a lot of creators are getting really worried about these advertisers they're getting where they're running ads on our videos and then they just pull it away. So go ahead if you want to look at it. You can see it. There's a lot of creators talking about it. So just saying. So I appreciate everyone that becomes a member, Patreon, both. It's a wonderful way to support the channel. Thank you very much. Hi, One Eye Blind Arts. And I think we give a lot to our members. We have the sales where our members can come up and sell and earn money. I really don't know any other channel that does it like we do it, and for as long as we do it. And I really don't. Okay, so anyway, that's enough of my soapbox there. I agree. That's why my other personal channel. All right. Anyway, let's see what we're going to do right now. I'm just going to go look at some of the, see what's going on in the world, see if there's anything that I want to discuss before we do the wind down, before I open up the panel again. And let me see. I'm pretty tired. I only got about an hour of sleep last night. I have an appointment at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so I just want to go over some things here. There is something I do want to talk about, the guy that beheaded his father. Yeah, it's crazy. You might have heard about it. A 32-year-old Pennsylvania man has been arrested after he allegedly killed and beheaded his father, and he posted a video of himself with the severed head. He called his father a traitor to the United States because he worked for the federal government. Justin Mohn, M-O-H-N, identified himself as a militia leader. He was arrested 100 miles from Bucks County scene where his father was found dead by his wife on Tuesday evening. Police say they don't know what his motive was. They found him in Fort Indian Town Gap, home to a National Guard training center, by tracking his cell phone. He posted a grisly video to YouTube, and it was viewed more than 5,000 times before it was removed from the platform. He said in that interview of nearly 15 minutes that it was a call to arms for American patriots. He is now in hell for eternity as a traitor to this country, he said as he held up his father's head. He called himself officially the acting president of America under martial law and called for a second American Revolution. He called for attacks on federal employees and journalists and deaths of federal law enforcement officers. He also doxed a federal judge in Montgomery County, reading off his name and address. In a rambling manifesto, he complained about immigrants, the president, and other high-ranking federal officials. He talked about far left woke mobs, Black Lives Matters, and members of the LGBTQ community. He claimed to be the best candidate for president in the 2020 election, and he said that there are people who believe he is the Messiah. He also rambled about Christian scripture and cementing Judeo-Christian values in the country. Last year, he sued the federal government for allowing him to take out student loans that he had to repay. He asked for $10 million in damages, and the lawsuit was dismissed 4 times. He has written several self-published books, and they were available on Amazon listings since 2016. Several are dystopian novels of the future ruled by Satan and his Homo Demonicus minions, while others are at least loosely based on his own life, including the second Messiah, King of the Earth. His musical recordings are still live on Apple Music as of Wednesday morning, and they include titles such as Justin Stalkers, Momunist, The Communist, and They Came for Justin Mohn the Movie, and Cold War Waste Town. He was arraigned early Wednesday and ordered held without bond. His next court appearance is February 8th. Wow. I don't know if any of you saw that video. Did any of you see that video? Okay, and Brian Koberger, he wants his trial moved because of the inflammatory media, publicity from the media. Let's see. Brian Koberger's legal team filed a motion on Tuesday to have his high-profile trial occur in a different county in Idaho. In the motion, Kohlberger's lawyers claim that the extensive, inflammatory pretrial publicity that the case has garnered has made it impossible for their client to have a fair trial in Latah County. They also asserted that selecting an impartial jury in Latah County would be impossible for the same reasons. The size of the community with the interconnectedness of its citizenry is problematic and will prevent a fair trial and impartial pool of potential jurors. On multiple instances, defense attorneys have sought to have his grand jury indictment dismissed, claiming that the grand jury used the wrong standard of proof because they were given incorrect instructions, and the grand jury was biased because prosecutors withheld evidence that would have supported Kohlberger's case. Last week, Kohlberger's attorneys pushed back against the state's request to have the trial start this summer. The defense claimed they would not be prepared by then, as they had only spoken with less than 10% of 400 possible witnesses. The defense said they estimate they will be ready by the summer of 2025, and they think that the trial could last 12 to 15 weeks. Yes. Let's see here. So, yeah, they've got their motion for change of venue, and it says a fair and impartial jury cannot be found in Latah County owing to the extensive inflammatory pretrial publicity allegations made about Mr. Kohlberger to the public by media that will be inadmissible at his trial, the small size of the community, the salacious nature of the alleged crimes, and the severity of the charges Mr. Kohlberger faces. Enlarging the jury pool will not do anything to overcome the pervasive prejudicial publicity because Latah County does not have a large enough population center to avoid the bias in the community. Further, the size of the community and the interconnectedness of its citizenry is problematic and will prevent a fair and impartial pool of potential jurors. Mr. Kohlberger, by and through his counsel, requests an opportunity to be heard through evidentiary presentation and argument no sooner than the end of April 2024. Motion for change of venue. So yeah, motion for change of venue. Oh, wait a second. Look at this. We got something else in this Chiefs case. Oh boy, look at the looky. Did you guys hear about this? The man at the center of wild speculation about what happened to the three friends who were found dead outside his home in his backyard after watching a Kansas City Chiefs game earlier with him that day, checked him the day that they were there. They found him 2 days later. Checked himself into rehab. Jordan Willis, 38, was facing his addiction head on, a source close to his family said to Fox News, and that the deaths of his three friends was an enormous, heartbreaking wake-up call. The bodies of Ricky Johnson, 38, Clayton McGinney, 36, and David Harrington, 37, were found outside Willis's home in Kansas City, Missouri on January 9th, 2 days after they and another man who left before the others gathered at Willis's home for a Chiefs game with the Los Angeles Chargers. A neighbor said that two of the now dead men showed up at Willis's house with 2 packs of beer. Police are still awaiting autopsy and toxicology results to determine the next steps. The toxicology test will take 6 to 8 weeks and the autopsies 12 weeks. After a shocking loss of 3 of his close friends under extremely tragic circumstances, Jordan recognized that he had a problem with addiction. The source said he immediately checked himself into rehab after vacating his home and putting his things into storage. Family members of some of the dead men have accused Willis of poisoning them or being involved in some other way, with Harrington's girlfriend claiming the 3 were murdered with no evidence to support that claim. Police have since said they see no evidence of foul play in the men's death. The circumstances surrounding the discovery of the bodies, however, has led to accusations of Willis's involvement in their deaths. When the men failed to respond to texts and phone calls, including Willis, who didn't respond, one man's fiance went to the house and broke in. She found a body in the backyard and called police. Police arrived and found the three men. They questioned Willis, but he has not been charged with a crime, prompting the men's families to go ballistic and go and, say a lot of things that are not facts, right? And that they are appearing in tabloids and publications and YouTube videos and everything. Willis's attorney, John Paserno, said that his client works from home and slept with noise-canceling headphones for much of those 2 days after the football game. He did not go to his snow-covered backyard, and he did not see the men's vehicles still parked on the street. Kansas City Police Department said that the case is 100% not being investigated as a homicide. The source who told Fox News that Willis had checked into rehab said he still planned to fully cooperate with the investigation. So that's weird, right? Oh, Catherine, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, before we do that, let's talk about Dan Markel. I hear them yakking their lungs out in Zoom. They're not listening. Oh, now they're just like, shh, she's talking about us. She hears our voices. Let's pretend we're listening. I hear her. I can hear everything. Okay, so anyway, the mother of Dan Markel, is hoping that her son's memory is not forgotten, despite the case that centers around the arrest of several members of a prominent Florida family. And I quote her saying, "My son, Dan Markel, was murdered in 2014. He became known as the slain professor in Florida, and I became known as the mother of the slain professor in Florida. Markel was fatally shot while he was driving into his garage in Tallahassee. Markel's former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, is accused of masterminding the murder. Her son, Charles Adelson, hired his former girlfriend, Catherine Magbanua, to kill Markel after his sister, Wendy Adelson, lost a bitter custody battle with Markel. Magbanua subsequently hired Sigfrido Garcia, her former lover and the father of her children, and his friend Luis Rivera, to carry out the hit. Magbanua, Garcia, Rivera, and Charles Adelson were all subsequently tried and convicted of murder. Ruth feels the case has been focusing more on the defendants while her son is being overlooked and overshadowed. And I quote her saying, "One of the things that I started to notice is that the victims are really underexposed in the court system and in the public. You just see them and the court suspects, so the point is that the victim suddenly becomes invisible." Markel and his former wife, Wendy, were going through a tumultuous divorce when he was murdered. Wendy denies any involvement, currently not facing any charges. She shared custody of their children with their father, with the children's father, Dan Markel. She wanted to move to Tallahassee She wanted to move from Tallahassee to Southern Florida to be closer to her parents. But the judge said, no, she can't move without their father's consent. Before his murder, Dan, reportedly refused, expressing concern about the children moving too far away. Dan's mother said she was 7 years younger than him. She had to finish law school, and so they moved to Tallahassee and then became he became a professor at Florida State University. She confirmed that her son went through a messy divorce, adding that despite all the hardships, he remained focused on taking care of his 2 children. He was a great father. That was the most important thing about Dan. He loved those 2 boys. Let's see. So now Donna Adelson, the former mother-in-law, she's in jail on first-degree murder charges. And when asked about this, Ruth said, and I quote, "We're in a good situation now. So Charlie Adelson, that's Wendy's brother, was just convicted November 6, 2023. And his mother, Donna Adelson, was arrested. She was trying to leave the country and go to Vietnam. So she is in jail. This is really new, and we don't know exactly when her trial will be. So we're certainly coming in the room, the right chapter." Okay, and I want to talk about Catherine Magbanua. Let's see, Magbanua is on some kind of seeking love in prison. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Okay. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, hang on a minute, guys. Let me go get this thing. Do-do-do-do. So she's on a, let me get this over here. Meet an inmate. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, seriously. Didn't even know anything like this. Meet an inmate. Catherine Magbanua, Lowell Correctional Institution, Tampa, Florida. Hey y'all, my name is Catherine, but everyone calls me Special K, or K for short in here. I'm originally from the Philippines, but I grew up in the beautiful city of Miami. I love the beach. A big foodie and watching movies. Gotta love those action-packed and chick flick comedies. It can get very hard in here physically and mentally, so I'm ready for some type of entertainment and lots of laughter. Hit me up if you have something interesting to talk about. Until then, live it up like it's your last. Stay blessed. Date of birth, December 22nd, 1984. Height 5'2". Education, high school. Occupation before prison, bartender. Earliest release date, not applicable. Maximum release date, life. Would you like letters from both sexes? Yes. Can you receive mail? Yes. If yes, which service? Securus mobile app. Can you respond to email? Yes. Activities in prison? Working out, yoga. Anything else? Sunglasses? Hey. So, are you looking for her? Okay. So, does Donna have one? Does Shirley have one? Unbelievable. Okay. Is that how that guy met, is that how he met, what's her name? Gypsy? Okay, so I don't get scared because I've got to start the new Zoom. So please don't get scared. I'm going to go away for a minute. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to kick them all out. I'm going to kick them all out now. They're gone. They're out of there. Invite. Copy invitation. I'm going to go to here. We're going to see who comes back in so fast. Who do you think will be first? Who do you think will be first? General Chow's chicken. What is that? Hey, Gail B. I just see you posting in there. Okay, let's see. And we're going to get the, oh, exactly as I thought.
First.
I know. You guys were yakking like crazy in there.
And where?
In the Zoom.
How could you tell?
I can hear because it's on my phone. I'm like, none of them are paying attention at all to what I'm talking about. You're all having extraneous conversations.
I'm still on the chat. Even though I'm talking, I'm still chit-chatting, watching.
Yeah.
I could do both at once.
I don't think so. You probably, if I gave you a test, you'd probably fail.
No, you were talking about Donna Adelson's son-in-law. You were talking about Brian Kohlberger.
Right.
You were talking about Michelle.
What did they find in the back of the red pickup truck?
In the back of the red pickup truck? I don't know.
Let me ask you another question. What did what month did she write that letter? What date?
Oh, I can't remember that, Carolyn.
Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You failed. Kevin was yakking it up. I could hear Kevin's voice the best. Sharon. Hi, One Eye Blind Art. How are you doing?
Hope you get some good sleep, One Eye.
I hope I get. I'm exhausted. I didn't get any sleep, and I've got an 11 o'clock appointment in the morning.
Oh no.
It's okay. I'm gonna do the word cookies and then I'm
Word
gonna
cookie time.
beat it out of here. Yeah. Was Evie in the live? In the Zoom?
Yes.
She's in the chat. Yep.
Oh, she probably won't come back in the Zoom. She knows I'm here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Video reel, not Cocoa Puff now. Live.
How come there's an echo on? Does anybody hear that? Oh, here comes Kevin now.
Yay.
Armada.
Okay, you ready? They found a bicycle in the back of the truck.
Oh, get out of here. I knew that. I just didn't say it. What date was the letter,
I was
Kevin?
paying attention.
Okay.
I don't know the month of the letter.
Or the day.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay.
But I seen you showing the bicycle could be seen in the back of the truck.
And
Yeah.
they've never found the bicycle.
Right.
Oh, Marty, leave him
And I
alone.
forget how long you
Here,
said
honey.
Kohlberger could go on.
12 to 15 weeks.
Yeah,
Oh.
isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That mustn't be the daily you're on, is it?
I want to tell you,
Oh,
that
am I
lawyer
not?
drove
Oh,
me
gosh,
crazy today.
Who drove you crazy?
That
In that
lawyer.
Crumbley case, that lawyer.
Oh, yeah, she's ridiculous.
It's awful.
She doesn't. They even tell her like you can't. That's not. You have to ask a question. You can't do that. And
The
she just
judge
goes and does
babies
it.
her.
Oh my gosh! Why does she baby her? Is this her first
I
case?
don't know.
I don't
It
know.
drove me crazy.
Come here, buddy.
She blinded me with science. Oh look, it's pink for Valentine's Day.
What happened? We're done?
No. What are you talking about?
Other stuff coming up on the screen.
We had to change because we were not in the right thing.
Oh. Yeah, let's try this one.
It's crazy. It's February 1st already.
I know.
I know.
Next month, spring. We made it through the winter.
Yep. Yep.
Yay. It's almost the end of February.
Is that right?
There's hardly anybody playing.
I think I
in there.
got it.
What?
I think that works.
Science, niece, I already have all that.
No. I can't see.
Oh, sins. Did I do
What
sins?
do I want? See, my puzzle's different than yours again. You have
Really?
5 3-letter words, and I only have 3 3-letter words. And I have 5 4-letter words. So do you. What's different? That's weird. Hmm. How am I supposed to cheat if yours isn't the same?
Good one, Kevin.
Incense.
No, there's not 2 N's.
No.
What video?
Scoot scoots.
Oh, scoots.
See you soon, One Eye Blind
See you
Arts.
soon,
Be
One
good.
Eye.
Be
Bye,
good.
One
Have
Eye.
some good rest.
Get some good sleep.
2 S's I need. The essence. We're not cheating, video.
See, I don't have me.
How did I just do that? I didn't even mean to do that.
Quit copying off of me, Kevin.
I got scenic. Let's see. Science. Yeah, it is. It's up on the top, Billy Boy.
And then Kevin is the last
Yes.
word in there.
Good night,
but
little
it's
lady.
IE.
Thank you for supporting
night,
the
little
Good night, little
auction.
lady.
Appreciate that.
Nieces.
Oh.
Yeah, only it's NIE, I think.
I know what I mean. I didn't say I spelled it right.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to go to bed. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for coming over. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow. God bless. Prayers, and got to find the way to get you off of here. Okay, see you tomorrow. God bless. Prayers. Love you guys. Bye.
Good night,
See you
everybody.
later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.